We give esteem and honor and praise to the Most High Yahuwah by Hashem Yahusha. So let's look at 1 Corinthians 15 and 50. Get Isaiah 65, I want to say, behind that. Matter of fact, let me start with Isaiah 65. We just go on ahead and just deal with that right now. Ain't nobody having no children in the kingdom, y'all. I'm here to tell you that. That's not going to happen. Was that 65 what that was he was looking at? Or was it 60? It's Isaiah 60, my people. My apologies. 60 and 21. But matter of fact, though, I'll make it better. And I'll back it up to 18. 60 and 18. I'll make it better back. I might not get to the blood of the prophets till Friday. What I'm looking at right now in verse 18 will lead me up to it. I just go ahead and crash the stupidity what Buddy was talking about and then just lead all the way into it. Also, the brothers let me know that that gathering in Detroit has been changed to August the 19th through the 21st. They working the stuff out, man. I know that I can't pay to take but one person with me. But if people that want to go, you know what I'm saying, let that be known. We try to put something together, but I'm not driving up there. I'm telling you that. Now I'm flying. I'm not driving. I'm not driving 18 hours. Yeah, I'm not driving. Isaiah 60 and 18. I think that's well on the Bluetooth. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders, but thou shalt call thy walls salvation and thy gates praise. Now we look at walls here, right? When he say violence won't be heard no more in the land, go look at Matthew 23 and 37. When we sit back and we look at it, it was a lot of bloodshed in the land of Yasharal, a lot of bloodshed. And it just wasn't the blood of the master. We defiled this man's land with blood. And we could sit back and we could look at how we defiled this man's land with blood. But we will in just a moment once I pull this word up. We're going to look at walls. That's what we look at. And it's Koma, right? And it just really just means a wall of protection. A wall of protection. And we're going to, the reason why I'm looking at wall of protection, because we finna go to something. And he say you'll call your gates praise. And then when we look at praise, it is I'm gonna mispronounce it. It's I'm gonna mispronounce it, I ain't gonna say it, but it means praise, adoration, or act of general or public praise, but also renown or fame or esteem, or possessor of renown, or possessor of greatness or known. This is what he say your gates are going to be called. And the gates is the entryway into this place, into this city. And it says that that's what your gates are going to be. Your wall's going to be called salvation, or your place of protection will be called salvation. And your gates or your entryway will be called praise. Just bear with me. Look at verse 19. The sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But Yahuwah shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy Elohim thy esteem. So when we look at this, this is telling us about the kingdom of Elohim. This is what this is telling us about. The reason why I went ahead and started here first instead of 1 Corinthians 15. This means you are dwelling in the kingdom of Elohim. So let's look at Matthew 23 and 37 first, because he said it won't be no more violence heard in this place. We're going to have to look in two different places of what it means about violence. Matthew 23 and 37. Violence can be stemmed from two different things, and that's basically blood being shed. Violence, wrong, cruelty, or injustice. Oppression, unrighteousness. Basically, it's going to be two more things. Literal violence and no more sin. Literal violence and no more sin. That's what's going to be in this place. O Jerusalem, O Jerusalem, thou that killed the prophets and stoned them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gather her chickens under her wings, and thou would not. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. For I say unto you, you shall not see me henceforth till ye shall say, Baruch is he that come in the name of Yahuwah. So now you sit back and say that Jerusalem is filled with violence because she kills those who are sent unto her, kills her prophets. Look at something in what is this? Malachi chapter 2. Might be Zephaniah or Zephaniah that I'm thinking about. It is Zephaniah. Look at Zephaniah chapter 2. That's what I'm thinking about. Zephaniah chapter 2. Chapter 3 actually. Zephaniah 3 and 3. He say, her princes within her are roaring lions. Her judges are evening wolves. They gnaw not till the bones, not the bones till the morrow. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary. They have done violence to the Torah. Now we know that Mashiach was the Torah made flesh. They did violence to him right in the midst of Jerusalem. Yeshayahu 60 and 18 or Isaiah 60 and 18 say violence will no longer be heard in this place. Now another thing that we usually sit back and we can look at violence being is committing sin. Because every time we commit sin, we commit violence against Yahusha. Every single time. How do we do this? Because Genesis 9 and 6 tells us that whosoever sheddeth man's blood, my man's blood, his blood must be shed. And every time we don't went over this before, that's why I'm not going to go ahead and just do it in great detail for time's sake. Every single solitary time that we commit sin, we are guilty of saying, let his blood be on our children's children. Because we are participators in those who spilled his blood because they despised him. See, let's look at that in John 15 and 22. Because that's how they did violence. They were light and treacherous people. They polluted his sanctuary. 1 Corinthians 3 and about 16 tell you, he that defiles the temple of God or the temple of Elohim, Elohim shall destroy. How do we defile this man's temple? We just talked about it the other day. We defile this man's temple because we have evil things in our heart. He said it's not from without a man that defiles him, but within. So we brought defiled idols into the house of Elohim, whether it be stubbornness, whether it be covetousness, whether it be fornication, adultery, maliciousness, and evil eye, unbelief, and fear. All of these things defile or pollute the house. All these things pollute the house, which is going to bring forth violence because you're going to bring forth violence against Mashiach. Knowing if you have these things in your heart, that means you're going to resist Elohim. Because it says clearly in Romans chapter 8 that the carnal mind is enmity or hatred against the law of Elohim, and it's not subject to it, neither indeed can be. Tells you the same thing in Genesis or Bereshit 3 and 15, that the woman's seed has enmity against the serpent's seed. That Satan's children will always hate and despise Yahuwah's children. And because they have a love for righteousness and unrighteousness in their heart, and Yahuwah's children have a love for righteousness in their heart and proclaim it, then there will always cause to be violence in the land. Because these people will seek to slay these people because of what they stand for. People don't really love this word. They don't really love Yahuwah, and they don't want their behavior to be corrected. This is why John, he told you in John the 3rd chapter, they don't come to the light lest their deeds should be reproved. Because in actuality and truth, people don't want their unrighteous deeds to be corrected. They don't want that to happen. We got to realize in the law it tells you, right? Look at Leviticus 20 real fast just so you can see an example of this in the law. What I'm talking about. I think it's about 20 and 13. I just know, make it 20 and 11. Just because I know, I just don't want nobody to think we zeroing in on homosexuals. I just wanted to be known that I know off the top that it says this in this location. It says, and the man that lied with his father's wife have uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion, their blood shall be upon them. And if a man also lie with mankind as he lie with woman, both of them have committed abomination, their blood shall be upon them. So that blood of committing sin is going to be upon you. See, I'm going to touch one particular thing from the beginning, something that I put in the chat. We'll go into it in detail. But that blood is going to be on you. So let's look at Isaiah chapter 1 real fast before we swing to this Revelation 21. So when we commit sin, that blood is on us. That blood is on us. That blood is on us. And when we look at that blood being upon us, that's the blood of Mashiach that's on you. Because he was your atonement to take that sin away. So when you commit that sin, his blood is on you. How you going to get it off? Isaiah chapter 1, about verse 12. When you come to appear before me, who have required this at your hand to tread my courts? Bring no more worthless oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Shabbats, the calling of assemblies I cannot away with. It is iniquity, even the solemn meeting. Your new moons and your appointed feasts my soul hate. They are trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. All this he's telling us is, it's not, you take people and they read this and they saying, oh, he don't want your Shabbats. He don't want your feasts. He don't want you to bring him with sin. He say you bringing him with that iniquity and that duplicitous mind, it's worthless to him. He say they are iniquity to me because it's lawlessness. He say, when you spread forth your hands, I will hide my eyes from you. Yea, when you make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. Well, the master told, and not the master, but in John 9:31, he say, Elohim don't hear the prayers of sinners. He say, we know this. He say, if I regard iniquity in my heart, he will not hear me. So that's what separates the people sitting back and you spreading your hands. Your hands are filled with blood because you got the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach on your hands. When you spread forth your hands to pray because of your sins and iniquities that you have committed. There will be no violence in the land. There will be no transgression. There will be no sin. Now we can look. I know I call for Zephaniah. We want 3. Let's go back to 3 and look at this right here. Because I'm going to have to establish this here. Because these dudes around here talking about you're going to be having children in the kingdom. It's got to be the most asinine thing anybody could say. Like, why would a spiritual being be trying to have sex? People don't realize when you sit back and you say that you're trying to have sex. You saying that Yah himself wants to have sex. Because he says in John 4:22, the master said, Elohim is a Ruach. And those that worship him must worship him in Ruach and in truth. So if Elohim is a Ruach, and we're supposed to be like the sons of Elohim, or the Malachim and Shamahim, then guess what? You saying Abba Yahuwah want to have sex. That's blasphemous. And people are like, no, you putting words in my mouth. I'm not putting words in nothing. That's what you are saying. When you're saying that you're going to become like Elohim and your body going to be made like his body and you're going to have sex, then you saying he got a desire to have sex. When you say angels came down here to have sex with a woman, you saying he want to have sex since the angels are his sons, because it said the sons of Elohim. Oh, them fallen angels. Then they can't be sons of Elohim if they fallen angels, because that means they were disobedient. That doesn't make any sense. Why does a spiritual being need to participate in a carnal act? There is absolutely nothing spiritual about having sex, regardless of what the world want to tell you. There is nothing spiritual about having sex. Those are people with familiar spirits and deal in spiritism to make you believe that sex is some spiritual experience. No, it is for the purpose of procreating. There's nothing spiritual about it. He said the flesh profiteth nothing. You can get a gain by not having sex. You can get spiritual gain from not having sex. That is a carnal act. That is a carnal act. Do so dumb. In the law in Leviticus, it tells you when a man ejaculates, he's unclean. So you're going to tell me there's going to be uncleanliness in the kingdom? When Abba himself cannot dwell in any uncleanliness? Say his eyes are too pure for that. So we around here, you releasing bodily fluids. We're going to show you according to what happened to the master. Ain't no releasing no bodily fluid. Don't let nobody make no fool out you. 3 and 12 of Zephaniah. I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of Yahuwah. The remnant of Yasharal shall do no iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. They shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. Now keep this in mind about a man of renown being your gate shall be called praise, because gates are a doorway. They'll feed and lie down. It's going to take something else. Gates is a doorway. Your wall is the place of protection. He say you'll call that salvation. So your salvation will protect you, and your doorway will lead you to give esteem to a man of renown or give honor to him. Let's look at Revelation 21 and 24. So we see the twofold thing where there won't be any violence in the land. There won't be any killing. There will no longer be slaying any of their prophets or slaying anyone. And there will not be sin in the land. So there will be no violence in the land. We just had to take that track by looking at it. They did violence to the Torah. They did violence to Mashiach. So we need to keep in mind, every time you read in the law and they say you committed sin and your blood will be upon you, that's talking about the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach being upon you. Matter of fact, I got a verse for that in my head. And we'll look at it in a moment. Matter of fact, let's look at it now before we go to Revelation, make it fit the point. Acts chapter 5 and 28. When you don't believe on Yahushua, his blood is on you. When you commit sin, you saying you don't believe on him, his blood is on you. Acts 5 and 28. Matter of fact, make it 26. 25 is better. Then came one and told them, saying, Behold, the men whom you put in prison are standing in the temple and teaching the people. Then went the captain with the officers, and they brought them without violence, for they feared the people lest they should be stoned. And when they brought them, they set them before the council, and the high priest asked them, saying, Did not we straitly command you that you should not teach in this name? Behold, you have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine, and intend to bring this man's blood upon us. These men say, didn't we straitly command you not to teach? He said, your teaching is going to make this man's blood be on us, because we will be found guilty. When he said, what sin has this man committed? I want to let him go. They say, let his blood be on our children's children. Well, just looking in 3 verses in the law, we see committing sin will have blood upon you. The reason being because blood has to be shed for that atonement of sin. Let's look at that in Hebrews chapter 9. Because I need y'all to sit back and realize, son, this is going to lead to something I've been holding for a long time. Hebrews 9 and 20. We'll make it 9 and 17. This is also going to sit back to show you how they would. I'm going to have to touch it just a little loosely. So I'm going in a different direction that I intended to do. But told y'all regardless. Ain't going to be no sinning in the kingdom. And it ain't going to be no animal sacrifices there either. For a testament is a force after men are dead. Otherwise, it is of no strength at all while the testator lived. Whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood. For when Moses had spoken every precept to all the people according to the Torah, he took the blood of calves and of goats and water and scarlet wool and hyssop, and sprinkled both the book and all the people, saying, This is the blood of the testament which Elohim have enjoined unto you. Moreover, he sprinkled with blood and the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry. And almost all things by the Torah purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission. So in order to get this blood that's upon you because of your sin, some blood has to be spilled. Some blood has to be spilled. This is the only way you can get it off of you. This is why these men were worried, because they had no intention on repenting for that same blood to get off of them. For the blood of Mashiach to wash their sins away. They wanted to stay in his blood and not be washed by his blood. See, that's a very simple concept, though yet complex for many who claim to be students or teachers of this word, that they can't seem to understand that when you commit sin, the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach is upon you. And that when you go against his doctrine and you don't believe in his name, then you're just like what he said in Yeshayahu chapter 1. When you spread forth your hands are full of blood because you have this man blood on your hands. Because you commit iniquity, so therefore you are guilty of crucifying him. This would make it cause someone to sit back and consider something. Before we look in Revelation 21, Matthew chapter 23. So I know it's a lot of dudes don't like me. And I know they don't like me for one reason and one reason alone. I just say what the book say. People like to coddle you and all this here, you know what I'm saying? Coddle you for what, man? If you wicked, bro. And it's your actions that show forth that you're wicked. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that based off any personal feelings or anything of this nature. You know what I'm saying? If like somebody don't tell me certain things, I'm going to judge it according to the very word that you judged yourself with, that you spoke out your mouth. Bear with me. I'm trying to get to a point. I ain't trying to go too long, but I'm going to try to tie it all in. Y'all know, so we're going to fit Isaiah chapter 60 look like. That's all we're going to look at. I see that's what y'all wanted me to do. We can't let that slide because he keep coming at Will with it. So we're going to go ahead and crash him, smash him, and dash him. He can just let that alone. 23 and 27. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like unto wicked sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but within are full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so ye outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. You know, it's a lot of people, boy, they seem to be very, very righteous, but inside of them the whole time, they were contrary to the word, and they were lawless, and they were just looking for the opportunity to go against this man's word. Because that's what was in them the whole time. And 99.9% of the time when nobody was looking, that's what they were doing. So I'm going to tell you something, man. If you actually live and believe this word, you can't go from walking in it to sinning very quickly. If you do it, it's because you were already filled with this hypocrisy and iniquity that this man was stating. You were already filled with it. This is what he was talking about with the scribes and the Pharisees. That's what they were filled with. Hypocrisy and iniquity. I'm going to say one thing and do another, and I got all manner of lawlessness in me. All I want to do is sin. This is why he say, away with me. Your hands are full with blood. Your solemn feasting means I don't want that stuff. This is tying in right to what the master said. Right here is tying into what was said in Isaiah. He's not accepting that. He don't want that. He say, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! You build because you build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous. And say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Wherefore you be witnesses unto yourselves that you are the children of them which killed the prophets. See, this is example of what I'm talking about. The same way when he said one of y'all is a devil and Judas said, is it me? You telling on yourself. You know what I'm saying? You judging yourself. You bearing the witness against yourself that what you stated is the reality of the situation. He man tell you, out the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So what you say out your mouth, that's really what it is. That's what's in your heart. That's what's in your brain. That's what's in your inward parts. So you got people that they sit back and you look at it, they the children of those who killed the righteous before him. See, I asked a question in the chat, and most high will and I get to it tonight to set the stage of what we talking about. Because they've been slaying the blood of the prophets since the foundation of the world. Since the foundation of the world. The righteous is hated. This is why this man said, can't be no more violence in the land. I can't have you slaying my son in the land. You slaying the prophet with your sin. I can't let you slay him anymore. I can't let you slay his sons. The sons of the prophets, the apostles and the wise men that I sent unto you, that you will persecute and stone. I cannot no longer allow you to do that. Therefore, there will be no more violence, but there will be a protection. See, look at John 16 and 33. See, it tells you that in Proverbs 18 and 10, if I'm not mistaken, the name of Yahuwah is a strong tower. Yahuwah's salvation is a protection. But it's a protection from death, the second death, not an actuality of protection from death itself, because you may die for the word. But that should be counted as an honorable thing. You shouldn't fear what a man can do to your body, because after that he ain't got no more that he can do. You ought to fear him that can take your body and soul and cast it into the valley of Ganinum or Himnom, and the hell, the lake where the worm died not, and the fire shall not be quenched. That's who you ought to fear. These things have I spoken unto you, that in me you might have shalom. In the world you shall have tribulation. Be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. Reason why I read that is for you to understand something. In this world you're going to have a little trouble. You're going to have a little tribulation. You're going to have some persecution. The Master told you if they persecuted me, know that they'll persecute you also. Know that. Understand that. See, a lot of people don't want that persecution because that persecution is going to cause... Don't you realize these people persecute you, they're going to kill you? Don't you realize that? Don't you realize that blood is being shed every day when somebody commits sin? Yahushua HaMashiach's blood is being spilled. Matter of fact, look at Hebrews chapter 6, because my mind is moving. We'll get to Revelation 21 eventually. I guess this man wants me to establish the matter of you're shedding his blood. And that can no longer be in the land, because without the shedding of blood, there's no remission of sins. This man is not coming back to the kingdom to be killed again to remit your sins. So I don't know why these dudes think it's going to be sin offerings in the kingdom. We'll look at Ezekiel 45 to establish that. And then most high willing on the Shabbat, I'll go into it in greater detail when I have more time to do so. Hebrews chapter 6. Hebrews chapter 6 and verse 4. For it is impossible for those who were once enlightened and have tasted of the gift of Shamahim and were made partakers of the Ruach HaKodesh and have tasted the good word of Elohim and the powers of the world to come, if they shall fall away, to renew them again unto repentance, seeing they crucify to themselves the Son of Elohim afresh and put him to an open shame. So what are you talking about here? He say it's impossible. If somebody done been a partaker of the divine nature and tasted the word of Elohim and felt his power, if they had to be made new all over again because they went back to sin, they say you killing this man and you putting him to an open shame all over again. Because when he was put out there on that tree, he was shamed. That's why he said he despised the shame, despising the shame with joy, endured the stake. So every time we commit, you gotta understand something. Sin is a reproach or a shame. It's a dishonor. So we gonna continually dishonor this man? Now when he talking about being renewed unto repentance, that's talking about being immersed all over again. That's being renewed or being made like unto his resurrection all over again. How could you be a partaker of his nature? How could you have tasted that the word of Elohim is good and you need to go back and repent again? See, now when we say that, now we talking about this here. This is what we talking about. Ezekiel 33 and 10. This is what we talking about. Just to make this clear what we talking about. Isaiah 33 and 10. Come on, man. Isaiah. Come on. Matter of fact, look at this right here. 33 and 6. 33 and 6. Make it 5. Matter of fact, make it 4. Then whosoever hear the sound of the trumpet and take not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. Now, most of you brothers know about the watchmen and all of that. When we say that sword is coming, in Isaiah chapter 11, it say that he shall slay the wicked with his mouth, or the sword in his mouth. And it says Mashiach is coming back in Revelation 19 to fight with the sword that's in his mouth. And it says the word of Elohim is sharper than any two-edged sword, dividing asunder to the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. So when this man is coming back, when we warn you from turning from sin, it's to warn you to be spared from Mashiach's wrath. Because Revelation chapter 1 and 7 says that the whole world shall wail when they see him, even those that pierced it. Because this man is coming to avenge his blood. I mentioned to you in Revelation 9 and 6, right? Whoever sheds man blood, by man blood your blood must be shed. When you commit sin, you shed his blood. This man is coming back to avenge his blood. We're warning you to turn from sin so this man ain't got to spill your blood. Because when this man come back here, ain't going to be no more violence in the land. When this man come back here, he taking people out, and it's going to be shalom from then on out. This is why when you see Gog and Magog in Revelation 20 getting ready to come back up and come against the camp of Kadeshim, that's why they get killed before they even get there. Because the man meant that in Yeshayahu 60. No more violence in the land. I'm going to kill them before they even get there. They won't even have a chance to do it. He's going to keep his word. He's going to do what he say. So remember now, he said, lift up your voice like a trumpet. Cry loud, spare not. So that lifting your voice up, that trumpet is the warning of the word to let you know to turn from your transgressions. But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away as an iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand. So if the watchman don't warn the people to turn from their sin, then that sin fall on that man. See, I'm going to show y'all something, right? Proverbs 25. I shared it with the brothers one way. I'm going to do it a different way. Let me make sure that's where that's at. Is it Proverbs 25? Let me make sure that's where that's at. Let me make sure that's where that's at. Let me see, make sure that's what I want. 25. Yeah, no, that ain't what I want. That is not what I wanted. Y'all give me a second. I'm trying to recall where it's at. I just was talking about this the other day. 24, that's what it is. 24 and what that is. 10. 24 and 10. Let's look at what that say in Marshall 24, Proverbs 24 and 10. He said, if thou faint in the day of thy adversity, the day of adversity, thy strength is small. That means if you fall out in the time of your trouble, that's why he say, be of good cheer. In the world you shall have tribulation, but in me you shall have peace. If you fall out in the day of your persecution or your trouble, that means your faith in Mashiach was small. If thou forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain, if thou say, behold, we knew it not, doth not he that ponder the heart consider it? And he that keep thy soul, doth he not know it? And shall he not render to every man according to his word? If you know these people committing sin and you don't see nothing, and you know that they supposed to get delivered over to the sword, and you don't say nothing, he say, don't you know that this man pondered the thoughts of your heart? He said, don't you know he going to reward you for that work? That go right back to what he told Ezekiel. If you don't warn that person, that blood going to be on your hands. Y'all can't be sitting back seeing somebody know they going to hell and don't warn them. You should actually feel like how Lot feel. I dropped that in the chat today. You should feel how Lot feel. They say Lot was vexed with the filthy deeds of the wicked from seeing them and hearing them. Like, I don't want to hear about your iniquity and sin. Don't come tell me about that. That should vex you. That should anger you. It says the wicked are an abomination unto the just, and the just are an abomination unto the wicked. That should be offensive and detestable to you. Why are you even talking to me about this? I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I'm straight. It said it vexed this man's heart to see this. This man just sat back and told you, if you forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death and are ready to be slain. Anybody that, the wages of sin is death. The soul that sin, it shall die. You see them heading to death and know they being drawn away to be slain, and you don't say nothing? You say, I ain't know. That man said, the man who pondered the heart, will he not consider your thoughts? Will he not award you according to your word? He don't know that you know that. He said, he that keep your soul. Because he told you in the epistle of Jude, he that is able to keep you from falling. That means he keep your soul. That man say he keepeth himself, and the wicked one touching not those that are born of Elohim. So those that are born of Elohim, that's who's keeping you. And you're not going to sit back and say nothing. Come on back to Ezekiel 33. That means that blood going to be on you. It's 8:17. Verse 7 of Ezekiel 33. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee for a watchman unto the house of Yasharal. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth, and warn them from me. When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die. If thou do not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, if he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. See, some people, that's what people don't want you to do. Don't tell them, don't warn them that if you worship idols, you go into hell. Don't warn them that if you commit fornication, homosexuality, adultery, lying, stealing, blasphemy, you go into hell. This is where the hatred coming at. This is why he told them whether they hear or forbear. He said only be worried about their hard looks and their speeches. Because this is a stiff-necked people. This is a rebellious people. Therefore, O thou son of man, speak unto the house of Yasharal, thus ye speak, saying, if our transgressions and our sins be upon us, if our blood is on us, and we pine away in them, how should we then live? Say unto them, as I live, saith Yahuwah Elohim, I have no pleasure in the death of the wicked, but that the wicked turn from his way and live. Turn ye from your evil ways, for why will you die, O house of Yasharal? Therefore, thou son of man, say unto the children of thy people, the righteousness of the righteous shall not deliver him in the day of his transgression. As for the wickedness of the wicked, he shall not fall thereby in the day that he turn from his wickedness. Neither shall the righteous be able to live for his righteousness in the day that he sinned. When I shall say to the righteous that he shall surely live, if he trust to his own righteousness and commit iniquity, all his righteousness shall not be remembered. But for his iniquity hath he committed, he shall die for it. Now, when we sit back and we look at putting this man to an open shame and trusting in your righteousness, let's look at Galatians 2:15 or 2:16, and let's get some understanding of what that means of trusting in your righteousness. Galatians 2:16 and Philippians 3:11. See, a lot of brews love to mention Deuteronomy 6:25. He said the law will be your righteousness. But I told you I wanted to hit that Psalms 119 and 142 and expound on what that meant, because that's every brew favorite verse. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy Torah is the truth. That everlasting righteousness is the righteousness of faith in Yahushua HaMashiach. That's what that is. We'll deal with that more in depth. I don't want to get caught off in that, because I got to finish this Isaiah chapter 60. I got to finish my point before I let y'all go. 2:16 of Galatians, the epistle of Paul to the Galatians. Knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the Torah, but by the faith of Yahushua HaMashiach, even we have believed in Yahushua HaMashiach, that we might be justified by the faith of Mashiach, and not by the works of the Torah. For by the works of the Torah shall no flesh be justified. This is what he's saying, if a man trusts to his own righteousness. Because you're not trusting in Yahushua committing sin now, are you? You trusting in, I don't work this law, I can go hit this woman. I can go commit a sin or two. He'll forgive me. Not so fast, my friend. I just was talking to Pale about this. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to show you this. I've shown it to y'all in the past, but I'm going to just bring it to your remembrance. So y'all can remember this and understand this and know this. If you know the word, this is what I meant when I told, and it was like this here, right? And it was like Satan just trying, because I was sitting at the pool, talking to Will, talking to CC, and I was telling her this like this here, right? Like, I know I can't go. Some people feel like, okay, I can go commit a sin and he'll forgive me. I know I don't have that leeway. So she was like, what you mean? I'm telling her, like, I can't go sleep with a woman right now. I can't go do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know if I go do that, I surely will burn in hell. I ain't even sitting back thinking about, oh, he'll forgive me. Because that means I'll be trusting in my own righteousness right then. That I feel like, well, I ain't did it in this amount of time, so I can go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? He'll forgive me. He's saying in that iniquity that you commit, you will surely die. That's what the book say. And then right after that, it's like Satan said, well, he said it, let's try him and let's see. No, wasn't even thinking on the terms of what I had uttered out of my mouth, but I know this here, you got to come a little better than this here, bro. I ain't hard up like that. Because if I was going to do that, I could have did that with the person I was with for an extended period of time. If I just was going to lay this here with some random women. That don't make no sense. If I didn't do it in a situation at an intimate, close situation, why would I do it with somebody random? That don't make sense. But the adversary try you like that. But you resist the devil, he flee from you. And it's crazy too. Because I resisted two of them and I ain't seen them. One of them hit me with a sob story. Oh, I got put out my place. I said, oh man, that's horrible. I ain't got nowhere to go. I can't help you. You know what I'm saying? I can't do nothing for you. You're not my wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm straight on that. You know what I'm saying? But you have to understand that your righteousness is in Yahushua HaMashiach. Not in yourself. You can't trust that you walking in this law that make you straight. Listen what he say. But if we seek while we seek to be justified by Mashiach, we ourselves are also found sinners. Is therefore Mashiach the minister of sin? Elohim forbid. For if I build again the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor. Hello? Hello? Bruh. If y'all go back and rebuild, this man said, if I rebuild the things that I destroyed, I'm a transgressor. This is just what Ezekiel 33 said. That's just what it said. That's just what it said. You're going to die in that. That man didn't teach you that. He didn't teach you that. That means your blood is on you. His blood is on you. You will not enter in the land. There will be no violence in the land. No sinners in the land. For through the Torah I am dead to the Torah that I might live under Elohim. That's the righteousness of Yahuwah. Look at Philippians it is. 3 and 11. Let me speed this on up to get to the whole key point so we can crash cars and send cars on their way. So when he called Will again with that foolishness, man, we go ahead and shut him all the way down, man. You go back where you came from. Three and 9. Being found in him, not having my own righteousness, which is of the Torah, but that which is through faith in Mashiach, the righteousness which is of Elohim by faith, that I may know him, and the power of his resurrection, and the fellowships of his sufferings, being made conformable unto his death, if by any means I might attain unto the resurrection of the dead, not as though I already attained, either were already perfect, but I follow after. If that I may apprehend that for which also I am apprehended of Yahushua HaMashiach. Paul is telling you, I ain't already grabbed it. I'm not already complete. I follow after that I might catch that for which I'm also caught of. He said, I've been caught by Yahushua HaMashiach to die and live unto him. That's what I chase. I'm already caught by it, but I'm still chasing to be made conformable unto his death. I'm not content to saying, well, I'm still chasing that. I need to be caught by that. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. I press towards the mark of the prize of the high calling of Elohim and Yahushua HaMashiach. See, that's what happened to Lot's wife. See, she wasn't forgetting the things that were behind and going for the things that's before. That's why she died and stayed where she was at. So if you seek to come in Mashiach, all the things you did before the word, you need to leave that stuff right there where you left it at. And move forward. Same thing Yahushua son of Nun or Joshua son of Nun told them coming up out of Egypt. Leave all that stuff on the other side of the flood. As forth as me and my house, we'll serve Yahuwah. We're not bringing that in here. That's what it means to put him to an open shame. You see how you put a man to an open shame when you commit sin? Come on back over here to Revelation 21:24. Speed it up. 21 and 22. I'm sorry. Revelation 21 and 22. And I saw no temple therein. For Yahuwah Elohim Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. And the city had no need of the sun, neither the moon to shine in it. For the esteem of Elohim did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of their wrath do bring their esteem and honor into it. And the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there. And they shall bring the esteem and honor of the nations into it. And there shall no wise enter into it anything that defile, neither whatsoever work abomination or make a lie, but they which are written in the Lamb's book of life. Now this is exactly what Yeshayahu said. This is exactly what he said word for word. So you sit back and look at it, right? He say the gates or the door. I know I mentioned that Ezekiel 45. I'm going to hold that. But look at John chapter 10 and verse 1. I'm going to hold that. Because I could be able to take that into one of the reading selections we had. And that's 2 Chronicles chapter 2, I think it was. Let me look at it. John chapter 10 verse 1. Truly, truly, I say unto you, he that enter not by the door into the sheepfold, but climb up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that enter in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter opened, and the sheep hear his voice, and he call his own sheep by name and lead them out. And when he put forth his own sheep, he go before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. Drop to verse 7. Hello? Hello? Yeah. Then said Yahushua unto them again, Truly, truly, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. Remember, it said in Zephaniah that it said that they would go into the land and they would lay down. Again, he said the gates shall be called praise or esteem. And Jeremiah chapter 33, and I want to say it about verse 10. It says, when we come into the city, it says that we will say, Hallelujah of hosts, for Yahuwah is good, and his mercy endures forever. He said this is what the people would be singing when they entered into these gates, into this land. And I told y'all this before, and I tell it to you again. Jeremiah was getting a literal vision of people literally singing this. That could be one of us that he saw. That's how y'all need to look at this stuff. When you read certain stuff, that literally could be you. Whether it be positive or whether it be negative, that literally could be you, because he's seen people doing this. He heard people doing this in the vision that he was being given. That's how you have to look at this stuff. It was asking me, like, what parts of the book do you take literal and what parts are metaphorical? All the stuff is literal, to be honest. It's just used in metaphorical allegories in a certain place to paint a picture about a literal situation. But the entire book is literal. The entire book is literal. From top to bottom, the whole thing is literal. It's just dark sayings. So the unwise cannot latch on to what he is saying. That was a reasonable question. So I don't want nobody to think that I'm mocking the question, because this is a conversation that I've had with Bruce for years. That's how a lot of Bruce look at Revelation 21. It's really apocalyptic language, and you can't take all of it literally. You know what I'm saying? This, that, there, and the third. It just takes discernment and precept upon precept and line upon line and rightly dividing the word to understand what it's talking about. Because we know there's not a literal woman sitting on a beast with 7 heads. You know what I'm saying? We know that. We know there wasn't a literal serpent walking around talking. You understand what I'm saying? We know that. When they talk about serpent, it's a deceiver, not a literal snake. All these things the adversary throws out there to get you to turn from the word. You know what I'm saying? Or to misunderstand something in the word. People don't realize that when the man say this man got short time and he at work, this man is at work to make sure your soul get damned. He is at work to make sure your soul get damned. Anything that he can do to cast any aspersions or doubt of the word of Yahuwah in your heart, he's going to try to do it. You understand what I'm telling you? If you got any wonder, any doubt, any questions, and you're not seeking that fully from the word of Elohim, he's going to try to ensnare you. It's a lot of brothers it's a lot of brothers. Like, that's not even dealing with the question that was asked me. I say it was a relevant question. I'm talking about from men who call themselves teachers and preachers of the word. You know what I'm saying? They have plenty of arguments about this. You have dudes that say this entire book is metaphysical and not literal, and you shouldn't believe none of it or take any of it literally. Hello? Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on? You got people who say you shouldn't take any of this book literally. That's nothing but the adversary. We done went through enough dark sayings and parables that y'all didn't know what they were talking about, that you see they were actually literal one. That they are literally talking about something that is going to occur or that has occurred. But that takes skill, and that takes the people. I put it to you this way. Everybody feel like they should be able to disseminate the word. Yah has not given that to everybody to disseminate the word. You know what I'm saying? So then you see a whole bunch of people who out here disseminating the word. So then they wonder, okay, which person is right? When you're not supposed to look at which person is right. It say let Elohim be true and every man be a liar. You're supposed to let the word be right. But when we're not living the word and we're not believing the word and we're not searching the scriptures to see if those things are so, what people say, then you won't be able to ascertain. Remember when you asked me, should we just double check like this? I ain't never told you just, or if I said it, just go for it. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to go look that up for yourself. You're supposed to go see that for yourself. You're supposed to seek that man told you to seek him, not seek the person who preaching the word. You seek after them to hear the word, but even after they done preached you the word, you still supposed to be seeking Yahuwah after that. You never seen the master like this here. Like, y'all know y'all can ask me questions about whatever. You ain't never seen the master get upset because they asked him questions. He got upset when they were tempting him. You know what I'm saying? You're tempting me with wickedness. You know what you're doing. There's a difference. So when we sit back and we look at this here, right? Entering into his gates and his doorway brings the esteem, right? Psalms of Talahim 50 and 22. We know Yahuwah protect. He said keep them from evil, not to take them out the world. Because I'm not going to really go into walls, because we know who the wall is. You go look in Daniel chapter 9, rebuilding the wall. Yahushua is the wall. He is your defense. Yahushua is your defense. He is your protection. If you abide in him and he in you, that is your defense. It's how the walls of salvation and the gates of praise. There's a defense there. What I just mentioned. Just escaped my brain. 50 and 22. Then we go back to Isaiah 60 and wrap this on up to sit back and show you ain't nobody having no kids and no kingdom. He said, now consider this, ye that forget Elohim, lest I tear you in pieces and none shall deliver you. Well, how do you forget Elohim? You forget him in your mind. You forget to do what he say. He said, my people have forgot me days without number. Whoso offer praise esteem me, and to him that order his behavior aright will I show the salvation of Elohim. Praise is Yehudah. So when you show forth praise, or you show forth Yahushua HaMashiach, because their gates are going to be called praise, or the door shall be called praise, when you offer the door, or you offer yourself like Yahushua did, you will see the salvation of Elohim. You can enter into that place. Let's get Isaiah 60, because we got to roll it. I know I mentioned that thing when I just said I was talking to pair with, and I got to roll it. It's 8:35. I got to roll it. Verse 21. Of Isaiah 60, Yeshayahu 60, verse 21. We'll get to the blood of the prophets on Shabbat when I got time to roll it. I got to take my time with that. Say, thy people also shall be all righteous. All righteous. Every last one of them. Now we're talking about the kingdom here. We've established that, correct? This is the kingdom of Elohim, right? This is the kingdom of Shamaim. Eternal life. Listen to what he said. Thy people also shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be esteemed. Hold on now. The branch of his planting? Well, let's look at something in Matthew chapter 2. The branch of his planting. Then Jeremiah chapter 23. And then John chapter 15. And it's going to make sense why I look at this of the branch of his planting. There's a reason why I'm taking this track. To show you, ain't gonna be no chill. You ain't gonna have no sex. You ain't getting no. Look here, man. You better get married and get your rocks off now. Because when the master get back here, that's over with. You ain't doing that no more. Matthew chapter 2, verse 21. saying, Arise and take the young child and his mother and go into the land of Yasharal. For they are dead which sought the young child's life. And he arose and took the young child and his mother and came into the land of Yasharal. But when he heard that Archelaus did reign in Yehuda, in the room of his father Herod, he was afraid to go hither. Notwithstanding, being warned of Elohim in a dream, he turned aside in the parts of Galilee. And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophets. He shall be called a Nazarene. Well, we know in Hebrew that word will say netzer, and that word means branch. He said the branch of his planting. He said all his people will be righteous and they will inherit the land. Isaiah chapter 11 before we look at Jeremiah 23. I just came to mind since Troy dropped that in the song. He dropped this right here in the song. We go ahead and read it. Sitting there thinking about that and then talking about you can't prove that the Messiah was black. I say, what? I say, boy, these people out here crazy, man. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. A branch, a netzer. Jeremiah 23 now, he said the branch of his planting. When you sit back, where you plant a branch at, right? Or a vine, what we're going to look at, got to plant them in the ground. That's why I say all these people are going to be righteous. We just looked at what the righteousness of Elohim was. That's faith in Yahushua HaMashiach, as the scripture has said. 23 and 5. Jeremiah. Behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, that I will raise unto David a righteous branch. Because all your children going to be righteous, the branch of your planting for them inherit the land. All of them going to be righteous. And the king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the Arats. And in his days Yehuda shall be saved, and Yasharel shall dwell safely. And this is the name whereby he shall be called, Yahuwah our righteousness. Yahushua HaMashiach is the righteousness of Yahuwah. Your faith in him, that is your righteousness. This is what will get the blood off of you. This is what will keep you back from transgressing. And this is what will cause you to inherit the land. How do we know this will cause you to inherit the land? Genesis 15 and 6. Abraham believed in Yahuwah, and he counted it to him for righteousness when he told him he'd have an heir and inherit this land. John 15 and 1. I don't know how this dude sitting back looking at this talking about you ain't no branch clown. You not finna have no children. Y'all just bear with me how we sit back and show this to master and how you ain't gonna have no kids and how you ain't gonna have no blood and all that there. Show you all that there before we depart. It's 8:40. Let's crank it up a notch. John 15 and 1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husband. Every branch in me that bear not fruit, he take away, and every branch that bear fruit, he purge it, that it might bring forth more fruit. Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. That got the blood up off you. Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except you abide in me. What we know about the tree that bring forth fruit after his own kind, whose seed is after his own kind. So when he say, all your children shall be righteous, and they shall inherit the land, the branch of your planting. This is going right back to Abraham. Because he was deemed to be righteous. His children, Isaac and Jacob, they inherited the land. They were the branch of his planting. Therefore, his descendants could come behind that later to attain it. So this is why you say that with the master. Now, I'm not going to read John 12 and 24. He said, except the seed fall on the ground and die, abide alone. But if it died, bring forth much fruit. What is the fruit? But his children that are righteous from that vine. The vine is what's producing the fruit. So when this is talking about, this is not talking about no regular man having a child. This is talking about Mashiach having children. Hosea 10 and 1, John 19, 34. Hosea 10 and 1. Yasharal is an empty vine. He bring forth fruit unto himself. According to the multitude of his fruit, he have increased the altars. According to the goodness of his land, they have made goodly images. He said he have increased the altars. Now, you know, on the altar, you offered yourself. You offered your sacrifice, I should say. I'm thinking about what he say, now you can make spiritual sacrifices acceptable to Yahushua, acceptable to Elohim by Yahushua HaMashiach. Because now you rest yourself on him. That's your altar, you offering yourself to increase the fruit. Because he said he bring fruit unto himself. He said he's an empty vine. John 19:34. Say he an empty vine. Because we'll read 1 Corinthians 15:50 behind that. Because I don't see how these men think that you're going to have kids in the kingdom. How is that possible? How do you think that when the word says different? People say a lot of things. And a lot of times they don't know what they're talking about. And they'll get you. And they will get you. John 19:34. Okay, I don't have that page in this book. John 19:34. But one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and forthwith came there out blood and water. This man emptied himself out. Y'all know from the law, it says the life is in the blood. That's Leviticus 17:11, right? The life is in the blood, right? John 6:63 says, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are ruach and they are life. Romans 8:11 say it was the ruach of Elohim which rose Mashiach from the dead. So the life is in the ruach, not in the blood. He said, quicken thou me, make me alive. The blood does not make you alive. It's the ruach of Elohim which makes you alive. So when we see this man make a statement that we about to read in Luke chapter 24 by verse 36, this is going to make a whole lot of sense. Luke 24:36. Luke 24:36. So remember now, this man say, all his people will be righteous. They will inherit the land. They are the branch of his planting forever. They are the work of his hands. So then we're going to have to sit back and see how they the work of his hands. And as they spake, and as they thus spake, Yahushua himself stood in the midst of them and saith unto them, Shalom be unto you. But they were terrified and affrighted and supposed that they had seen a ruach. And he said unto them, why are ye troubled, and why do thoughts arise in your hearts? Behold my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see. For a ruach hath not flesh and bones, as ye see me have. If we sit back and we saying that you're going to have sex in the kingdom, you saying Yah himself got flesh and blood. Because the master just said, I'm a ruach now. You see me, I got flesh and bones. He didn't say flesh and blood. The same way you read in Genesis 2:21 in the law, flesh of my flesh and bone of my bones. The man was showing you then the beginning forth of 1 Corinthians 15:50. What it's finna say. I'll just read it to you. I ain't gonna say it. We'll just read it. We'll let the book tell you. It's a crying out shame that all these men claim they believe this book, but they don't want to go by what the book say. All we just gonna say is, what did the book say? At the end of the day, let Elohim be true and every man a liar. What does the book say? Why is it such an issue and a problem with men? Let's just go by what the book says. If we just go by what the book says, we won't have any problems. Now, this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Elohim. Neither doth corruption inherit corruption. This is the stupidity of the doctrine. Because if you got blood in you, you will corrupt. The Ruach of Elohim is eternal. It can never corrupt. So how you going to be having sex in the kingdom? That means you saying it's going to be death in the kingdom. Listen to what he says. Behold, I'll show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, the twinkling of an eye, the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. We don't even sit back and realize when the master rose from the dead, that was also the fulfilling of this statement. And this is Yeshayahu 25:8. You know what I'm saying? Death is swallowed up in victory. The master overcame the world. He swallowed up death with his triumph. My word, my word, my word, my word. Now look, this is the thing we're going to sit back and hear them. Dead be raised incorruptible. Just something in my mind for that. An individual don't realize that there's nowhere in the world that you're going to have children in the kingdom. That means if you have children, are you not corruptible? Are you not going to die? Come on back to that.
You know what else I thought about though?
What's that, bro?
I was thinking like, you know, they preach too that reincarnation, right?
Yes, they do.
So you gotta think about it like this. This is what I just thought about. So if he's saying that we all coming back, you know, they'll say that, you know, when you die, you come back. So, you know, you could have been somebody else. You could have been another fool before you just died.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So let's say you in the kingdom and you live forever. That means it's only gonna be one set number of people because all the souls that come back is reincarnation. That means it's only gonna be a set number of souls that are there. Just recycling the same person over and over.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let y'all know, and I'll show it to y'all one day in more detail. They get that from Ecclesiastes, I think, chapter 1, with that stupidity. But I crashed one of them stupid niggas in the street with that one. I told him, I say, boy, it say the spirit of Elijah was on Elisha after Elijah went into Shamahim. So you telling me, was that Elijah or was that Elisha? And the nigga just sat there and looked at me stupid. You know what I'm saying? And there was a brother standing to the side like, boy, you know the word. And I'm like, yeah, you better know it. I said, don't be letting these people just tell you anything. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the people just sit back and tell you anything. He could tell y'all that because he know he don't know the book. He know he can't tell me that. Don't let the people sit back and tell you, man, you're going to be having sex in the kingdom. Matthew 22 and 28. That's what I was going to get. So when he say this mortal shall put on immortal, then this what makes sense when the master says this right here, Matthew 22 and 28, which also shows you that ain't no women having 29. Ain't no angels came down here and had no sex. That's retarded, man. Niggas get that stuff from movies, man. Yahusha answered and said unto them, you do err, not knowing the scriptures nor the power of Elohim. For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the Malachim of Elohim and Shamahim. But as touching the resurrection of the dead, have you not read that which was spoken unto you by Elohim, saying, I am the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, the Elohim of Jacob. Elohim is not the Elohim of the dead, but of the living. Do you not realize this flesh is dead and you got to have a ruach in you? And you going to sit back and tell me we going to be having sex in the kingdom, you ignorant fool? How dumb do you have to be to teach that? How dumb do you have to be to believe it? Like Will said, the niggas who go for that type of doctrine are people who have little to no intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Really have low self-esteem. Barely can read. Like, this ain't being funny or nothing. Like, if you look at it, it's a certain type of individual. They fall right along with this stuff and they kind of fall into that profile. It's not 100% accurate, but it's pretty accurate though.
Hey, Dwayne.
Yeah.
At the barbershop, where I was asking, are we gonna know each other in the kingdom? Like, are we gonna know each other when we enter into the land? Because he said somebody told him that we not going to remember nothing.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, we gonna.
I done heard that before. I done explained that to people before. They say that because he say the dead don't remember anything at all. They take that from Ecclesiastes 9. But then the book say clearly, it say you see Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and the prophets. So you would have to know, for him to say that, you would have to know who they were. It's not like it's going to be a mix and they got a sticker on their shirt saying, hi, I'm Abraham.
Yeah, that's what I told him. That's what he said. But I said I gotta find it. I don't remember where they're going to get each other.
Hold on, get Ephesians chapter 2 so I can show you how he the work of his hands. Yeah, I mean, you're going to know who people are. It's not like you just going to be, like you would have to know who the master was. You'd have to know. You got to remember, he says that hereby they do hear us because they are of Elohim. They hear us not because they are not of Elohim. So anybody who you knew that was of Elohim before you died, you're going to know who they were because you are of Elohim. If I don't know you, it's because you ain't Elohim. And that means you ain't going to be where I'm at. Ephesians chapter 2. That's what I want, man. What I want. About 18. For though through him we both have access by one Ruach unto Abba. Now therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the Kadeshim of the household of Elohim, and being built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahushua HaMashiach being the chief cornerstone. That ain't what I wanted. There we go. 2 and 7. That in the ages to come he might show the exceeding riches of his favor and his kindness towards us through Yahushua HaMashiach. For by grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of Elohim. Not of works, lest any man should boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Yahushua HaMashiach unto good works, which Elohim have ordained that we should walk in them. So when you sit back and you look at it, the word was made to create you so the work of his hands, his desire, it's like he say, I'm the potter and you the clay. His desire is to turn you into the son. That you would be the work of his hands. Come on back here to Isaiah 60 and 22, the last verse. We'll wrap it up right here with this verse right here. And it says, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, Yahuwah, will hasten it in his time. When it says a little one, the word is katan. It means young, small, insignificant, or unimportant. When it says a small one, the word is sayar. It means little, insignificant, young, youngest, mean, or little, insignificant again. So when we look at Sunday, Matthew 11 and 28, right? Then get you Isaiah 53. And then just for time's sake, most high willing, we come back and precept it a little better. Because it's almost 9 o'clock and we got to clip it. 11 and 28 of Matthew. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, I will give you rest. And take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and you shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Now it said he came into his own, and his own received him not. He was little and insignificant to these people. They said they didn't want to hear the mighty deeds or see the mighty deeds that he did because he grew up with them. They esteemed him not. He was insignificant to these people. He meant nothing to them. And that's what happens. He told you that in 2 Chronicles 36. They took the prophets lightly. I should say Matthew 22. They took their words lightly. They made light of them. They were insignificant. That's why he say, Abba, Yahuwah, the world have not known thee, but I have known thee. People make light of it. It's small. It's unimportant to them. Yahushua was unimportant to the people. See, look at Isaiah 53. So when it says a little one shall become 1,000 and a small one shall become a strong nation, him that was insignificant, the stone that the builders reject have become the head of the corner. And this was Yahuwah's doing. It was marvelous in our eyes. He's the stone the builders rejected. He was insignificant to them. Then he just told you that he's the vine that he planted and that he'll produce 1,000. Don't you realize he produced men when they rose from the dead? That was the production. That little one became 1,000. And a strong nation. All you got to do is look in Revelation chapter 7. It was a number of people they couldn't even number standing before the throne in white robes and palms in their hands. He said, who are these people? He said, they are wearing white robes. He said, those are the ones who have washed their garments in the blood of Mashiach coming out of tribulation. His blood purged their sin. Because without the purging of blood, out the shedding of blood, there's no remission of sin. So they took that sacrifice. See, what I was going to read y'all in 1 Samuel chapter 2, it said Eli knew what his sons did, and he didn't restrain them. He knew what a sin. Yahuwah said there would never be a sacrifice to purge that sin. So when you read in Hebrew chapter 10, if we sin willfully after the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifice for sins. Boy, you can't be around here knowing this man's word saying committing sin and think you straight. You know what I'm saying? Like when you know, Like when you done heard the word and you know, and you go against, we ain't talking about, okay, you committed one and you repented, right? Because he tell you that in 1 John chapter 2, verse 1, he say, my little son, sin not. But if you do sin, you have an advocate, Yahushua HaMashiach, the righteous. You understand what I'm telling you? But you mean you adding sin to sin? He said, you'll even live in that. He'll turn you over. You're not keeping him in your knowledge. He will turn you over. There's no way in the world you can hear this man's word, know this man's will, know this man's way, and turn from it and think your soul will be spared. It will not be spared. If it is spared, then Yahuwah is a liar. And we know, if you don't know nothing in this life, Elohim is not a man that he should lie, nor the son of man that he should repent. If he said it, shall he not do it? If you don't know nothing else in this life, you ought to know Yahuwah ain't no liar. Men lie. Elohim don't lie. So, according to this man's word, well, you can't be knowing, you can't know this man's will, boy, and be out here sinning and think you straight. Think you gonna be saved. Think there's a chance for returning, and you know? Do you know how wicked? Do you know how wicked you have to be to hear this man's word and turn from it? I ain't talking about you heard a sermon or two. I'm talking about you sat down and you were instructed in the way of righteousness and salvation by way of Yahushua HaMashiach, the Savior of man, and turn from that and count the blood of the covenant an unkadesh thing and do despite the Ruach of grace. Do you know how wicked you have to be to do that? I don't think y'all sit down and understand that and weigh that out in your brain. Do you know how wicked you have to be to do that? I'll use myself as an example. How wicked y'all think I would be if you found out I put this whole thing down and was getting high, selling dope, hitting hoes, all that type of stuff. You be like, all this stuff this man done taught and preached and all this stuff, and he go back and do that? Do you know how wicked you got to be to do that? Y'all really sit back there and measure that in your mind. Do you know how wicked you have to be to know the word of Elohim and turn from it? Walk around. To know it. To know it. He say sin willfully after the knowledge of the truth. That means you know. That man say, boy, I ain't sacrificing nothing for you. You's a wicked bastard. Isaiah 53 and 3. 53 and 2. 53 and 1. Who have believed our report, and to whom is the arm of Yahuwah revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant and a root out of a dry ground. That's the same way you sit back and you see he hadn't watered the ground in Bereshit chapter 2, Genesis chapter 2, before he brought Adam up out of it. But he was a tender root though. He brought him up out of dry ground. Because the master said he thirsts. That's why he rained that ruach on him and bring him up out that dry ground. So he could be a righteous branch to bring forth fruit unto itself. And these niggas think you finna have churn. He have no form of comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, and we hid it as it were our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. He was little, and he was insignificant unto us. And with that being said, hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. We'll stop right there for now. And we'll pick it up, Yah will, on the Shabbat. We stop right there for now.